Set aside everything demanding your focus right now, even if just briefly, because my words are directed at you personally. Not broadcast to the masses, not spoken into empty air, but aimed directly at your heart in this very moment, for you are the reason I showed up here tonight. My purpose is not to fill you with dread. My purpose is to equip you. These are two entirely different things, and grasping that difference matters before anything else I say tonight. Dread nails your feet to the floor. Readiness sets them moving. Every word I speak over you tonight carries one intention, to push you forward rather than pin you down. Something has been taking shape silently in the background of your life, concealed beneath the familiar surface of your everyday routine. You might sense nothing out of the ordinary, as though tonight is indistinguishable from any other. But underneath that stillness, things are rearranging themselves, and I would far rather bring them into your view now than leave you to stumble into them blindly. My voice has never gone absent from your life, and the distance you sometimes felt between us was never real on my end. Tonight I am stepping in even closer, driven by a love too strong to watch you float through this particular season without someone pointing out what lies ahead. Right now, more than it has been for quite a while, your attention is something that truly counts. The weight of your exhaustion is not lost on me. Your days have grown so crowded that stillness feels like a luxury you cannot afford. Which is precisely why I am not standing here asking for hours. All I need is your undivided focus, for however brief a window you can offer it. Something inside you nudged you to remain here instead of moving on. Honor that nudge rather than brushing it aside. It was not random. It is the quiet language I use to reach the parts of you that have not yet shut the door to me. Right in front of you sit decisions that appear routine but carry consequences far heavier than their surface suggests. A path you have been tilting toward. An individual you have begun to rely on. A pattern of behavior you let slide into autopilot long ago. Any of these, left unexamined, could be gradually pulling you further from the peace that belongs to you. Living afraid of every choice is not what I am calling you to. Living with your eyes fully open is. Eyes open living means catching what others walk right past. It means spotting the hairline cracks before they become breaks you cannot repair. That kind of watchfulness is not a heavy load I am strapping to your back. It is a tool I am placing in your hands, because early sight is always better than late regret. Being warned and being condemned are not the same experience. A warning carries no verdict against your character. It is simply care that arrives before the wound does, leaving you room to choose another direction. The window has not closed. Your strength has not run out. You still have what it takes to step away from whatever would rob you of your peace. So before you take another step forward, I am asking you to pause. Breathe. Take a second, unhurried look at the road just ahead, because the eye that rushes misses what the patient eye sees plainly. Among the people surrounding you, not every face reflects what it appears to on the outside. Rather than weighing someone by what they say in a single conversation, observe the pattern of what they do across many days. Truth does not announce itself loudly. It surfaces gradually, and patience is what allows you to read it accurately. Honor the instinct within you that quietly registers when something is off. That instinct was not an accident of your nature. It is one of my languages, delivered without syllables yet unmistakably real. When it stirs, do not argue yourself out of it before giving it a proper hearing. Tonight I am not inviting panic into your chest. I want you steady, not rattled. This conversation is not about cowering at every unfamiliar shadow. It is about moving with the kind of wisdom that keeps you upright when the ground around you becomes uneven. Wisdom is the shield that prevents a person from being deceived and from stepping into traps they never saw being laid. You carry protection. But that protection is not a passive thing that happens entirely without your participation. It is activated through your choices, through the alertness you bring to each day, through the warnings you choose not to dismiss. Every aware step you take narrows the gap through which harm could otherwise slip in. Whatever you are registering in this moment, that low-level sense that these words carry real weight, do not shrug it away. It is part of how I steer you toward clarity even before the full picture has revealed itself. Stay a little longer, because tonight's message is not finished. You have shouldered loads that were never designed for one person to carry. Day after day you have pressed on past the point of empty, telling yourself rest was simply not on the table. What I want you to understand tonight is that choosing to stop and listen is not surrender. It is the very act of receiving the protection you have been quietly asking me for, often without finding words for the request. There exists a category of harm that never announces itself with alarm bells. It wears the clothing of the familiar. It looks like a comfortable choice, a small and seemingly inconsequential decision. That disguise is what lets it pass unnoticed until the cost becomes undeniable. I would rather hand you the sight to catch it now, while you can still change course. Your presence here tonight was not an accident. Among all the ways you might have spent this hour, you chose to remain and listen, and that choice tells me something about the readiness living inside you. I do not orchestrate moments carelessly. This particular exchange has been in preparation for far longer than you are aware, held in reserve until the moment your heart was open enough to receive it without flinching. When you step back into your ordinary life after tonight, carry what you heard here with you. What sounds like a gentle alert right now could be the exact thing that spares you from a far harder stretch of road down the line. Receiving a timely word while it can still redirect you is one of the most valuable gifts available to a human being. Speak your amen aloud if you would rather be found ready than caught off guard. When I say I have been waiting for your response, I want to be clear about what that means. Not a polished reply. Not words delivered with conviction and perfect timing. Not even a prayer built from the right vocabulary. What I have been waiting for is simply the moment your heart angles itself in my direction, however tentatively, however unsurely, however quietly. That moment is what I have held space for, and I waited for it without growing impatient. Many times I have called out to you, not with the drama of thunder, but through something barely above a whisper aimed at the softer places inside you. I reached you through thoughts that surfaced without invitation. I reached you through unexpected stretches of quiet that made you uneasy because slowing down was unfamiliar. Your silence was never a door slammed in my face. It was the sound of someone too depleted to lift their head. The burdens you were carrying were greater than those around you could see, and when a person has been stretched that thin, even the warmth of love can seem to come from a great distance. I understood that. It never pushed me away. There were nights when you felt a pull toward prayer but could not locate the words. I was already present in every one of those wordless moments. Your hesitation was not something I held against you. I recognized it for what it was, not resistance, but exhaustion. And exhaustion is not a sin I hold over you. I have been a quiet observer of your internal battles. I have seen how uncertainty caused you to question whether you were genuinely hearing from me or simply manufacturing comfort out of longing. I have seen how what lay on the other side of listening frightened you into staying quiet. None of that created distance between us. Every one of those moments pulled me nearer, because real love does not rush a worn-out heart or pile demands onto hands that are already full. You were not forgotten. Your life did not slip beneath my awareness. Your silence never went unregistered. There were moments when I deliberately held certain paths in place, not because I had forgotten your request but because you were not yet positioned to handle what waited on the other side. Your quiet seasons were not empty. I was actively standing guard within them. At certain points you concluded you had run out of time with me, that your hesitation had cost you something that could not be recovered. Hear this plainly. You did not lose me. I do not operate on the kind of ticking clock you have been afraid of. Hesitation does not offend me. Delayed response does not cause me to retract. Faithfulness, by its very nature, holds the door open without resentment. The fear of letting me down has gripped you before, and that fear made you pull back, convinced that you needed to show up in better shape before approaching me honestly. But I have never required certainty from you. What I require is honesty. Not a polished performance but your actual presence, exactly as it looks in its most unsure and tired form. Every time you went quiet, I did not look away. I moved closer, waiting for the instant you would feel secure enough to speak without bracing yourself for judgment about how long the silence lasted. The number of times I quietly covered you during those seasons, redirecting paths, cushioning certain moments with grace because I knew you were running thin, may never be fully known to you. But it was real. The cry that lives beneath your composed exterior, the one nobody around you hears, reaches me without difficulty. It rises from somewhere beneath language, from depths you do not open to the people in your life. The people nearest you observe the capable, put-together version of you. I see what moves underneath it. I see the ache that returns the moment the day quiets down and the room empties. There are nights your body quits before your thoughts do. You sift through conversations and choices and moments you would rewrite if you could. You second-guess your words, your timing, your decisions. In the small hours when the isolation of your own mind feels most acute, I am there, not at a remove but pressed close, closer than the very silence surrounding you. During those stretches you have begun prayers you never finished. You shaped them without completing them, unsure of how they were supposed to end. You have wanted to ask me for an explanation but held back, uncertain of what might open up inside you if I answered. None of those incomplete prayers dissolved. They arrived in full, because the language of the heart reaches me regardless of whether the mouth ever joins in. The particular kind of loneliness you have lived with has not always been about empty rooms. It has been about feeling invisible inside a crowd, about nearness that somehow still leaves you unseen. That experience was never evidence that you were forgotten. It was the signal that your heart was reaching for something the world around you did not have the capacity to offer. This matters, and I need you to let it land. Not one of the tears you shed in private was shed alone. The ones that ambushed you without warning, the ones you did not see coming, the ones that surprised you with how far down they came from, every single one of them was witnessed, collected, and remembered. The ground never received a single one of them without me seeing it fall. You have questioned more than once whether anyone truly sees past the front you present, whether anyone knows what actually lives behind the version of you that holds everything in order. Here is what I want you to receive. I know you entirely. Your fears and your aspirations exist in the same breath to me. Your doubts and the faith you return to even after wrestling those doubts, I know it all. Nothing you carry is hidden from me, and nothing about you sends me away. The weight of this does not have to remain yours alone. You do not need to keep questioning whether your pain has registered, whether your private tears were witnessed by anyone who genuinely cared. I am here, as I have been through every quiet stretch before this one. Not watching from a distance but present inside the struggle with you, prepared to bring rest, prepared to bring peace, prepared to remind you that you are fully known and unconditionally loved. Whisper your amen if you believe I am already in motion on your behalf tonight. My child, what I am asking of you now is that you release a portion of what you hold, something that carries genuine weight for you, as an act of trust, an offering that demonstrates your confidence rests in my provision rather than in the security of keeping it close. What leaves your hands in faith does not vanish from your life. It goes ahead of you, moving into the abundance I am already cultivating on your behalf. Now there is something else that demands equal attention tonight. Some of the people you have extended trust to may not be carrying the sincerity their surface suggests. Before you measure someone's heart by what they say to you in a good moment, watch what their actions reveal across many moments. Sincerity does not hide for long under careful observation. Give it time, and what is real will become readable. There is a recurring pattern in how you have been responding to your life, and it has not been working in your favor. You may already sense it, even if you have kept yourself from looking at it directly. It shows up in moments of uncertainty or difficulty. Rather than stepping back to gain perspective, you tend to press ahead quickly, trusting that things will somehow resolve themselves without your deliberate engagement. The invitation tonight is to interrupt that pattern and do something different. When you build a pause into your response, before action comes reflection, and reflection allows you to see beneath the surface of what is happening. You stop accepting what you hope is present and start noticing what is actually there. This is how you interrupt harm that has dressed itself in familiar clothing. Slowing down to think is not timidity. It is one of the most honest forms of strength, because it keeps your choices rooted in reality rather than in the rush of the moment. There is someone in your orbit who does not hold your worth in the regard it deserves. Their behavior toward you may not cross into open hostility, but there is a carelessness embedded in it that could quietly erode your peace if left unaddressed. You have felt a faint uncertainty around them at moments, a hesitation you have not yet given yourself permission to take seriously. That hesitation is telling you something worth listening to. It is inviting you to look more carefully than you have allowed yourself to so far. You do not need to challenge everything at once. But growing more intentional about what you invite into your space is necessary. You deserve to occupy places that genuinely support who you are becoming, not places that quietly ask you to make yourself smaller in order to fit. Constantly reshaping yourself to accommodate spaces that do not recognize your value is a form of slow loss. Your peace deserves the same vigilance you would give to anything else you value deeply. Beginning to define what you will and will not allow into your life is not an act of coldness. It is an act of stewardship, a decision to protect the inner landscape that everything else in your life depends on. Setting limits is not about building walls to keep people out. It is about preserving the things inside you that matter most. There is also a decision that has been occupying a corner of your mind for some time now, something connected to your future, whether involving your work, a relationship, or a direction you have been quietly turning over. You have thought through it carefully, yet something in your interior has not settled into peace about it. That unsettled quality is not noise to push through. It is a signal asking you to go deeper before you commit. Anything that is genuinely right for your life will hold up under a slow, deliberate examination. If something feels like it cannot wait, like it is pressing you for an immediate answer and leaving no space for careful thought, that urgency itself may be a sign that this particular thing is not aligned with what is best for you long term. What I am inviting you to do is slow your pace and allow clarity to arrive before your feet begin moving, because movement born from clarity protects you from the kind of costly mistakes that haste tends to produce. Something is building in you through this entire process, whether or not you can feel it yet. Every time you choose to pause and reflect rather than react and rush, you grow more anchored in your own sense of self. You begin to trust the knowing that lives inside you at a deeper level, and that trust becomes the quiet compass that guides you through complexity in ways words cannot fully describe. None of this is a call to pull away from your relationships or construct a life that keeps the world at arm's length. It is an invitation to engage with your days from a place of deeper presence, to stop skating along the surface of your own experience and to actually see what is there rather than what you have simply grown accustomed to expecting. Looking honestly at the road you are on, ask yourself whether the decisions you have been making are leading you toward greater peace or quietly generating more confusion. The things that belong in your life produce a kind of quiet alignment even when they are hard. The things that do not belong generate a subtle friction that grows louder the longer you choose to disregard it. Learning to tell these two sensations apart will become one of your most reliable guides in the months ahead. Something in your daily rhythm also needs your attention, something small enough that it has faded into the background of your habits and no longer gets examined. But small habits, sustained over time, are the architecture of your actual direction. What you do consistently shapes where you end up. Look carefully at what you have been feeding into your daily life on a routine basis, because every genuine change you will ever experience begins there. There is something significant in the fact that you are still here, still listening after everything that has already been said. You made the right choice by not walking away. Nothing in the life of someone I am at work in happens without purpose. I create openings where every available path appeared sealed. I restore what looked beyond any possibility of recovery. I have heard every tear you held back and witnessed every sleepless stretch where you wondered whether I was paying attention. Tonight I am telling you directly, yes. I see you. I hear you. And I am responding now to what you have been carrying for far too long without relief. Those who trust in me and wait will not find themselves standing in shame. I am the one who refills the emptied and reconstructs the broken. My intention is to pour into your life and into the lives of those you love in a measure full enough to rewrite the narrative that has defined you until now. And hear this too. My love for you does not cancel my commitment to truth and order. Stay attuned to my voice, because the road toward what I am moving you into opens up more fully the longer your ears remain inclined toward me. Provision is already on its way. The need you have privately concluded has no earthly solution is the very need being addressed. This will not arrive through your own ingenuity or effort. The hand it comes from is mine. What has been shut is being opened. There is no ceiling on what becomes possible for the one who refuses to let go of belief even when waiting has stretched longer than seemed reasonable. What comes will not simply patch the immediate gap. It will begin dismantling the pattern of scarcity that has followed you, the one that made you feel perpetually behind regardless of how hard you pushed. I do not hand things over halfway and walk away. Every promise I have spoken to you I see through to completion. The faithfulness you have shown, your quiet consistency in showing up even on the days it cost you, is shifting things in your favor in ways that have not yet become visible to you. Things that were sealed are beginning to unseal. Things that appeared lifeless are beginning to show signs of movement again. A fresh current is blowing across your life, and this is your moment of renewal. Even where your eyes still register what appears unfinished, even where your hands have not yet received what you have been hoping for, I am telling you with certainty that the work is already underway in the dimensions you cannot see. The evidence will become visible to you. Do not surrender your hold, because I am never delayed past the moment that is right, and I do not abandon what I have promised you no matter how long the gap between promise and fulfillment has appeared. The exhaustion you feel is not invisible to me, not the kind that a night of sleep does not touch, not the kind produced by days that have been too full for too long. I am not a God who looks past the tiredness of those I love. Rest flows from me to those who seek me, and renewal goes to those who feel they have nothing remaining to give. The longings you carry for a simpler way through your days, for ease in the parts of your life that have felt disproportionately difficult, these have not gone unregistered. Even the quiet ones you never voiced to another person are known to me. The small wishes count alongside the large ones. What appears insufficient in your hands right now, I specialize in multiplying. A handful of bread and a few fish fed a crowd that should have walked away hungry. That capacity has not diminished. What you have, however small it appears to you, is enough to work with. Do not let modest beginnings become a reason to stop expecting. In my hands, what is little consistently becomes more than enough. Every season of planting done in tears, every stretch that yielded nothing visible, every prayer and quiet act of faithfulness and stubborn decision to keep believing when the evidence argued against it, all of it has been tending toward a harvest. The gathering time is here. I have held every one of those small acts of trust in memory, and none of them has been misplaced. Healing is already moving through what has been wounded in you. The weariness in your heart is being addressed so that the long road does not break you. Your thinking is being expanded beyond the boundaries you came to accept as fixed and permanent. I do not want you pulling the weight of old chains as you step into what is next. I want you moving lightly, freely, with a steadiness that comes from trusting that what stands ahead of you is not bigger than what stands with you. Let yourself receive the good things arriving in this season without guilt or suspicion. Every moment of genuine laughter, every interval of peace, every breath drawn without tightness in your chest, these are gifts placed deliberately into your hands. Joy is permitted. Rest without apology is permitted. You walk through a long stretch of difficulty without putting the faith down, and faithfulness toward those who stay the course is something I take seriously. What I speak I bring to pass. What I commit to I carry through without revision. In this season now opening to you, every forward step will bear witness to something. Doors that were shut are opening. What had been reduced to almost nothing is being multiplied. The kind of quiet perseverance you have practiced without anyone much noticing it is something I intend to honor openly. Do not let doubt talk you out of what I am saying tonight, and do not conclude that what is being offered is too significant for you to receive. Stay rooted in my word and keep my voice near the center of your life, and you will find that genuine need goes unmet no longer. What I am releasing into your life in this season of rest, provision, and new beginning is the opening chapter of something far larger than what fits in a single message. New relationships are also coming, people I am specifically routing into your path. Their arrival will not be coincidental and will not be the result of random circumstance. I am positioning them near you because they belong to what I am building in and around your life right now. At the same time I am drawing certain people closer, I am also doing the work of loosening connections that have been pulling in the wrong direction. Relationships that have been consuming your energy while returning very little are being separated from you. Doors to those connections are closing. My desire is for your daily experience to be marked by peace rather than constant depletion. The season in which certain presences in your life made you feel smaller than you are is coming to its end. You will begin to encounter your own value reflected back to you in ways you have not felt in a long time. I intend to remind you of who you actually are, not who you have been told you are by those who spoke from limited vision. You were not formed for failure or for a diminished, peripheral existence. You were formed to carry something greater into your ordinary days. Release the weight of false things spoken over you. I am the one who designed your existence with intention, and the plan I made for your life will outlast every seed of doubt ever planted in your heart. What has been concealed is beginning to surface. The long stretches of silence and unanswered questions that you walked through were not evidence of abandonment. They were the interior of a preparation process. While nothing appeared to be happening, the arrangement was already in motion. While everything seemed frozen, the foundation being laid was specifically engineered to carry the weight of what is coming. What was a source of shame will become something that produces a quiet kind of honor in you. What appeared to be pure loss will yield something you will recognize as gain once enough time has passed. I am placing something within you that will cause doors to open, trust to form, and acknowledgement to come to you not because you chased it but simply because you stayed faithful over the long haul. The season you are stepping into is one of genuine expansion, and it will not stay contained to a single dimension of your life. What you hold in your hands will shift. But so will how you carry yourself, how you interpret what you have lived through, and how clearly the path ahead becomes visible to you. What was confusing before will begin to resolve itself, because clarity will be given to you in the precise moment you require it. I will walk you through this step by step, and the uncertainty that has sometimes left you stumbling will no longer define your movement. I travel ahead of you, clearing the road before you arrive. I am opening access to places you have never stood before, to possibilities you convinced yourself were not options, to paths others were certain had been permanently sealed. What I place in your hands will not press down on you. It will feel like the lifting of a weight you had stopped noticing you were still carrying. As you move through all of this, keep your trust anchored in me. Do not grasp at what I have already moved out of your hands. Face the direction I am building toward rather than back toward what you were relieved to leave. Do not retreat when it grows unfamiliar, and do not let the skepticism of people near you redirect you from the path that has your name on it. The ancient promise still holds. Something new is being done. It is already emerging. Can you begin to perceive it taking shape? A road is opening through terrain that looked impassable, and water is rising in places that sat dry for far too long. That promise was not written only for the people who first heard it. It belongs to you tonight with the same force it carried then. Paths will become visible where previously there were none. Resources will appear where only emptiness seemed present. Fulfillment will settle into the spaces where promises have been waiting quietly for their moment to become real. Nothing spoken here tonight was intended as temporary emotional comfort. You will see it take form in your actual life, visibly enough that what you will feel when it happens is not surprise but recognition. Things in you that have lain dormant are being stirred back to life, capacities that were never lost but simply waiting. A quality of wisdom will rise in you, along with ideas and insights that arrive not from your own labor alone but from what I release into you when you stay in close relationship with me. This is a season of speed. What has moved slowly for years will begin accelerating, because I have decided that now is the moment to make my faithfulness to you unmistakably clear in a way that cannot be explained away. Do not put a ceiling on what I can do here based on how loud your doubts have recently become. The one who formed the sky and breathed life into everything living, is there anything that falls outside what that one is capable of? What tonight feels like a faint and distant hope will before long be something tangible in your hands, and you will point back to this exact night as the quiet turning point. The people who witnessed your struggle will witness your rise. Those who knew you in seasons of scarcity will be present when abundance arrives. When that moment comes, the reliability of my word, the shape my promises hold, and the consistency of my care for you even across the years it did not feel that way, all of this will be beyond dispute for you. Declare your amen where you stand, if you are ready to receive what has been spoken over you tonight. One more thing before this message closes. Everything said here tonight has flowed from love. But love and truth are not separate in me. That means what you heard tonight is not for this hour only. It deserves to be held, returned to, and allowed to settle rather than being overrun the moment your day resumes its usual pace. Guard carefully what you disclose and to whom you disclose it. In the past, things you shared openly found their way into uses you never anticipated. This is not a call to close yourself off entirely. It is a call to become more deliberate about where your trust comes to rest, because not every relationship has earned access to the fullness of what you carry. Notice how your body responds in different environments and around different people. Some spaces produce a quiet ease in you almost immediately. Others introduce a tightness that you cannot easily put into words. Begin trusting those physical responses more than you have been. They often arrive at the truth before your reasoning catches up, and they are part of how I signal to you what is safe and what is not, even before you have a clear explanation for the feeling. When the pressure of this season eventually releases, and it will release, resist the pull to return to the patterns that preceded it. That moment of relief is where many people quietly lose the ground they gained in the difficulty. The ease of feeling steady again makes the old familiar habits feel harmless, but it is those same habits that left them emptied in the first place. The awareness you carry through the storm deserves to survive it. There is something in you that this season is calling to the surface, a steadiness and depth of wisdom that has not yet been fully visible even to you. You are more resilient than you have given yourself credit for. You have navigated hard seasons before and emerged from them carrying more than you realized you had accumulated in the process. What presses heavily on you now will one day become something you speak of with a steady voice that surprises even you. Your ability to make the right choices has not been removed. It is activated by alignment with what is true. You are not navigating this without support. What needs to be known by you is being given to you incrementally, at the pace that fits your capacity to receive it, and that process will not be interrupted as long as you remain open to it. There is also the matter of the instincts you have been second-guessing. You have felt something was misaligned in certain situations, and rather than sitting with that feeling, you argued yourself past it and continued forward. That pattern of overriding your own perception has cost you. Beginning tonight, what I am inviting you to do is trust the guidance that already lives within you. It was placed there to keep you safe, not to mislead you. Growing in awareness means not just keeping a watchful eye on what surrounds you, but staying present enough to register the small shifts before they accumulate into something large. You begin to notice things others miss entirely. Changes in someone's behavior, a shift in the energy of a situation, small indicators that something warrants a closer look. This quality of presence functions like a quiet protection around you, reducing the likelihood of harm arriving without warning. Your peace also requires more active protection than you have been giving it. Certain things have been granted access to your mind and emotions that did not deserve the space they occupied. Not every disturbance requires your engagement. Not everything is owed a portion of your energy. Developing the practice of remaining calm in the face of minor provocations keeps you grounded when the stakes are genuinely high. A clear mind produces stronger decisions and a kind of steadiness that becomes visible to others, not as something you perform but as something you simply carry. This is the protection being built around you through each segment of tonight's message, constructed piece by piece so that when pressure arrives again, you will be someone who knows how to remain steady within it rather than someone who gets swept by it the way you once were. As this message draws toward its ending, hear what I want you to carry out of this room tonight. Nothing you encountered here was placed randomly. Each word was selected for the specific place you currently occupy, for the weight you are currently carrying, for the moment you are actually in. You did not enter this message the same as you will exit it. Something has already shifted in you. Even if you cannot fully describe what it is yet, what once felt unsteady in your thinking is becoming more settled, and that settled quality is itself a layer of your protection going forward. A mind that holds its footing is not easily shaken from its course by external pressure or by the voices of people trying to redirect you. You are developing the capacity to find stillness inside yourself before you respond to the world outside, and that is a quietly rare and powerful kind of strength. The strength in you that has not yet fully surfaced is being summoned by this season. You may see its arrival in hindsight before you recognize it in the moment. But it is coming. And the evidence of it will be visible in how you look back on everything you walked through. Let any fear that gathered in you while listening to tonight's message be released now. What has been described here is not a wall you cannot move around. It is terrain that can be navigated with awareness and one deliberate choice at a time. You are not without influence over what happens next. You hold considerably more agency in this than you may have believed before tonight, particularly now that you are choosing to walk forward with your eyes open rather than moving through your life half asleep. Fear produces paralysis. Understanding produces movement. And the understanding you leave here with tonight is substantially greater than what you arrived with. Hold it carefully. Do not rush to deploy it all at once. Let it absorb into you gradually, the way water works its way slowly into ground that has gone dry, reaching the roots rather than running off the surface. What tonight's message could not fully cover will continue to unfold in the days ahead. But your readiness to face it has increased meaningfully. What has been planted here is already shaping the road beneath your feet in quiet, incremental ways. You are no longer walking through your life without seeing it, and the shape of everything ahead of you is altered by that fact alone. Stay close to what has settled into you tonight. Do not let the busyness of tomorrow argue it back out of your heart. Let this night mark the quiet beginning of a shift, not because everything resolves by morning, but because you finally paused long enough to listen to what has been waiting to be heard. There may be questions tonight left without answers, places in your life that still feel open and unresolved even after all that has been said. That is not a sign that I missed your request. It means some threads are still being drawn together on a timeline that only I can see fully. Trust that the same faithfulness that positioned you in this moment will continue walking with you through whatever waits beyond it. You have spent a long time believing the whole structure would collapse if you relaxed your grip on it. Tonight I am inviting you to loosen that grip, not because you have failed, but because carrying all of it alone was never the design. Hand me what your hands were never built to hold. That is not defeat. That is exactly the arrangement I intended from the beginning.